Hi everyone, good morning and good afternoon. My name is Courtney Derler. I am a community coordinator here at eFolder and your host for today's webinar event. So welcome to our eFolder Partner Chat Series. This webinar series brings together leading eFolder partners for business-oriented discussions in a virtual environment. So today's topic is actually going to be an eFolder partner panel titled Kiss ConsumerGrade File Sync Goodbye. And we are lucky enough to be joined today by three very successful eFolder partners. Zach King from TeamLogic IT out of Dallas, Eric Woodard from Protec out of Salt Lake City, and Todd Wall from Unified Systems Management out of Atlanta. So before we go through today's agenda, let's just first cover a few housekeeping items. Today's session is being recorded. The recorded version of the webinar, along with all of the slides, will be made available to those who registered for the event. With over 100 people registered for today's session, we have put all participants in listen-only mode. You can enjoy the audio portion of today's event by either streaming it on your computer or by dialing in over the phone. And your questions are strongly encouraged throughout. This is going to be an open discussion format, so please don't be shy. We've planned a special Q&A section at the end of today's discussion, but you may submit your questions as we go along, and we will try our best to address them on the fly. So let's get started. Okay. So just quickly go over today's agenda. I am going to introduce our partner panel shortly after this, and then we will go into some market trends that we currently see in our industry. Following that, I will cover the dangers of consumer-grade file sync, and then I will talk a little bit about eFolder Anchor, and then we will get into our partner testimonials. So we have some specific questions that they will be answering, but really this is your time as audience members and participants to ask your questions as well. So again, please don't be shy. So these are our partners today. So we have Zach King, like I said, from TeamLogic out of Dallas, Eric Woodard, he's the owner of Protec Systems out of Salt Lake City, and Todd Wall is the president CEO of Atlanta Technology Force, but now they are Unified Systems Management. So welcome, guys. If you just want to each in turn take a little bit and tell about your business. So we'll start with you, Zach.
Thanks, Courtney. My name is Zach King. I'm the general manager here at TeamLogic IT of Las Colinas. TeamLogic IT is a nationwide franchise. There's about 90 locations throughout the United States. We are one of those 90. We've got about 25 clients and over 50 end users using Anchor. We've probably got about 8 terabytes or so of data that's being used up over those 50 end users, 25 clients. We are a managed services provider, and most of our clients either fall into the financial services, medical, construction, and manufacturing verticals there. Have been an eFolder partner for probably 8 or 9 years now, and we're looking forward to this webinar today.
Great. Thank you so much. Eric?
Sure. Thanks, Courtney. This is Eric from Salt Lake City, Utah. We have been in business about 5 years. We've been partnering with Anchor for about a year now. We have about 50 clients on it, but we plan to have about 200 clients on it by the end of the year. I should say end users, not clients. Our clients, we have a lot of engineering firms, construction, title and mortgage, kind of across the board. And most of our clientele is in Utah, or at least their headquarters are in Utah. And then we, support people all around the world from their headquarters here.
Great. Thank you so much. And finally, Todd?
Yes, my name is Todd Wall. I founded Atlanta Technology Force, now known as Unified Systems Management, in 2001. Been in operation for roughly 15 years, based out of Atlanta, Georgia. We've been an eFolder partner for, I think, longer than we were actually an Anchor partner. I think separately we were partners when they were segregated, but Anchor for the last 3 or 4 years. Ultimately we got 27 clients with nearly 200 end users. It grows every month, little by little. We cater to pretty much anybody that has greenbacks and computers. So I'm not really stuck to any vertical in that sense. And the majority of my clients are based in Georgia but travel worldwide. So this definitely services that need in that sense. Okay.
Great. Thank you guys so much. And I'm going to get back to each of you a little bit later on in the webinar where we will touch on our discussion. So for now, I just want to go over a couple things, some market trends that are taking place that affect the way that we do business day to day, you know, not just people in the technology sector, but everyone who relies on technology for their business operations. In recent years, the world's workforce has become increasingly mobile, with employees being able to get more and more work done outside of the office. So a 2015 IDC survey found that there are over 96.2 million mobile workers in the U.S. alone. And of those 96.2 million workers, 37% of them get their work done from multiple locations, whether that may be from home, during business travel, or even while on vacation somewhere. And 53% conduct work activity across 3 or more devices. So your laptop, your desktop, tablet, your smartphone, basically anything that has a screen these days, you are able to get some sort of work done on it. You just have to have the right tools. So these statistics translate to employees being more productive today. They no longer have to be in the office in order to get work done. Things are a lot more flexible. And this explosion of workforce mobility has created a specific need for accessing and working on files from anywhere at any time. So enter the ConsumerGrade file sync solution. So I'm sure everyone on the call is very familiar with these companies right here. So since this explosion of mobile work activity, ConsumerGrade file sync services have more or less invaded the workplace. So employees everywhere have discovered the easy file sharing and productivity benefits of services like Dropbox and OneDrive and Google Drive. And in June of 2015, Dropbox actually announced 400 million users and 800 million businesses that were using its services. So, I mean, this is great. Obviously, this is a huge opportunity as MSPs and solution providers to jump on and to actually make a profit. But these consumer-grade businesses do indeed make that hard for us sometimes with their, you know, free-based subscriptions. So, unfortunately for business owners, employees have brought these services with them to their jobs, which means they're using them to sync their sensitive corporate data. So I just want to quickly cover some of the dangers that could face companies and business owners when employees do use consumer-grade file sync services at work. So this consumerization of IT massively increases the risks for business owners when corporate data gets synced or shared onto uncontrolled machines or mobile devices. Businesses risk data theft, you know, people who maliciously act or steal or vandalize sensitive data loss. Huge amount of time this comes from user error. So employees that just lose a device that's not being managed by an IT administrator, or they just press a wrong key and lose a bunch of stuff. Corrupted data. So working in the IT space, we've heard dozens of stories of data not being readily available when employees need it, for whatever that reason may be. They could be exposed to lawsuits. If your clients are storing sensitive company information on personal or unmanaged file sync accounts, they're running the risk of lawsuits. As I'm sure all of you know, most of the work needs to be, you know, HIPAA certified and whatnot. So this could be a huge risk to business owners and the company. The compliance violations, like I just mentioned with HIPAA, there's many other like PCI compliance. These go hand in hand with the lawsuits that you may face. So if someone loses a personal cell phone and it goes into the wrong hands, this could be very, very bad. Loss of accountability. If you don't have administrative control or visibility, you really can't hold people accountable for the work that they are doing. And also loss of file access. So people not syncing files back to the file server, or not having proper amount of data storage to make that happen. So this can happen where your work is not saved as the most recent version of itself. So the integrity of your work is pretty much compromised. So all of this can be summarized basically by security risk. So now I just want to introduce eFolder Anchor, which solves all of those problems. eFolder Anchor is a business-grade file sync service that enables users to sync sensitive corporate data across multiple devices. Anchor is specifically designed for deployment by IT service providers, MSPs, and VARs. So how does it work? This diagram is a very basic illustration of the things that eFolder Anchor does at the most basic level. So first, let's look at Client A. Here we have users who are securely syncing all of their key work content between their laptops, their smartphones, their tablets, and the cloud. Each user is completely empowered wherever they go to be able to access and work on their files with ease. So each organization can also set up team shares, which permit interdepartmental or private collaboration activities between smaller groups. So Client B highlights the multi-tenant nature of the solution. MSP partners can uniquely manage each client and the users in a discrete manner with multi-tenant management. Security and access policies can be defined at the client level, and partners save time and money by getting a complete global view of their entire client base. So notice that both these clients in the diagram are utilizing the secure external collaboration features, where users may send files to external parties via the Outlook plugin or via URLs. So each user may specify different security permissions on the shared files, such as the need for username and password access, download limits, or expiration limits. And I just want to quickly say this feature is huge with a lot of our partners' clients that also work with outside vendors or contractors. The fact that they can easily just send them a link where they can download a 300-page PDF or plans for a construction project, and it's pretty priceless. So then everything is safely synced to the eFolder cloud. Partners get a global view of their clients and users, and they may easily manage and monitor a growing client base with PSA integration features as well. So just a quick overview of eFolder Anchor's features. It is business-grade file sync. It enables secure file access from any device. File server enablement allows you to simply connect your file server to the cloud and map certain folders to team shares, which then serve as a file server. So everyone, remote or not, gets the exact same experience, and they are all in sync. Secure and easy sharing. This really empowers user collaboration, so users have the choice to share their files in a secure or public fashion. Both are very easy and easy to learn. So the backup, restore, and versioning features all really prevent data loss, and this comes at no charge along with this service. So file backups happen seamlessly and continuously in the background for all content within the sync folder, as well as specified content outside of it. Recovery and restore can be utilized at a bulk basis or by time window. And Anchor also delivers security and control. So admins have access to comprehensive usage supports and activity logs, which all can be used to analyze the client's work procedures. And of course, finally, Anchor is HIPAA, PCI, and SOX compliant. And we run from 4 eFolder data centers in Atlanta, Salt Lake City, Kelowna, and Amsterdam. So that's enough from me. That's just a rundown if you were not familiar with Anchor. I just want to get back into our partner panel. So we're going to begin by asking them each the same question and taking some time to listen to how they've utilized Anchor and how they've been successful with it with their business. So we're going to start with Zach. How and why did you get started selling eFolder Anchor, and what sold you on it?
Yeah, sure. So we got started selling eFolder Anchor because we did see the need from our clients for a secure business-grade file syncing solution, but unfortunately they could go directly to Dropbox and get something that they thought fit their needs and cut us out of the picture. And so when we saw the Anchor solution, it made complete sense to us because it was a solution that was meant for us in the channel that we were designed. It was designed for us to deliver that solution to our customers, and Anchor really wasn't going to try to go around us and go directly to our customers to sell them the solution. when we saw the file server enablement add-on to it, it was a done deal. We were sold, and that's when we signed on and began to sell the Anchor solution to our customers. And once they saw it, just like you've already seen, it made total sense to them as to why it was a better solution overall than anything else that was out there.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. So, same question, Eric. Go ahead.
Sure. A lot of the same reasons. We went to Anchor as well. I actually saw Anchor presented at IT Nation almost 2 years ago now, and the ability to manage multiple clients with one pane of glass was a huge thing, as well as just overall management. Just kind of a heads up with Dropbox and some of these other ones. If you Google Dropbox and security concerns, there's a whole list of things, and so we didn't really want to bring that into our clients. We knew it was already in there, but we wanted to bring them a solution that we could help manage, and so that's what brought us to Anchor and eFolder.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Todd?
Yes. So about 7 years ago, we had established a server-based hosting environment, and we wanted to include some sort of synchronization piece for those folks that didn't want to have to terminal into a terminal server or a virtual desktop to gain access to just files while either that are on the road or at home. So we actually had partnered at that time with Sugarsync before Sugarsync had any business plan at all. We actually worked with them for several years to try and develop a business grade white label solution, but their CEO changed, and so the direction changed, and they dropped that whole thing. And at that time, we had a good 65% of what we got now or better on Sugarsync on that plan. So we scrambled to find a solution. That's what when we came across Anchor. I believe it was through IT Nation or some other, maybe a webinar, I can't recall, but we were on the hunt. And what signed, sealed, and delivered the deal is that the file server enablement piece, which is something we've looked for, in addition to a lot of the compliance concerns that our medical and financial folks have in regards to the back-end piece and the encryption piece too, encrypted at rest, encrypted at transit, that kind of thing. So we partner up with you guys, and I got to say it's a well-written application that's easy to manage and maintain. Just like the other guys said, being able to have a dashboard view, which I can tell you, we tried to get Sugarsync to develop that, and actually reached out to Dropbox before we went to Anchor. But at that time, Dropbox was in its infancy on the business component, was still focused on consumer stuff. And we know where they sit in comparison to Anchor, and if you don't, of course, I'm sure Courtney's going to point it out.
Definitely.
there is a distinctive difference, and as far as our clients are concerned, but we love it because of the management and the oversight, without a doubt. So, and the price is right, I think.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so next question, Zach. How does TeamLogic IT specifically price and package eFolder Anchor? Do you guys bundle it? Do you sell it standalone? Would you mind sharing that with our listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. We do both. So we have some clients who may be smaller in size. They may be 3 to 5 people who Anchor is the only thing that we may sell to them, and they may be a small office with no server where Anchor is their file sync solution. And so in that case, we'll just price it by the number of users times the amount of data that we think that they'll need, factoring in, the storage needs for the file revision history, which is a great selling solution for the customers that we have. And then we also bundle it in along with our managed services offering, just as a hidden behind the scenes option that gives us the ability to take the files on their server, back them up to the cloud, give those restore options quickly there, especially when it comes to things like CryptoLocker and some of the other nasty viruses that are out there. It gives us a great rollback solution there. But it's typically based on the number of users and the amount of data there. But on average, the customers that we're selling this to, it's no less than $150 a month for the Anchor solution.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Sorry. Eric, how about Protec?
Sure. So we do both as well. Sometimes we bundle it with our managed service offering if we're and the seat price is high enough and it makes sense for them. Sometimes we bundle it. We are starting to use it quite a bit with companies that don't have domains. So we have an advertising agency that has Macs, PCs, and no domain, and they have several unmanaged file sync solutions. We came in, we blocked all the other solutions. We put this one in that can be managed, and I believe we're charging about $15 per user per month. Another little side benefit of this is, along with a file sync, you can actually use it to back up laptops. So you can say, hey, back up my documents on the laptop, and that's been really helpful in certain circumstances where we have lazy users, again, no domain, no redirected documents, and we'll just back up my documents. They don't even know it's being backed up. Their management knows, but the end user might not know, and it gives us a lot of relief knowing that we can restore at least their data easily, as well as remotely if we had to.
Great, thank you for sharing. So Todd, how does Unified Systems Management price and package Anchor?
And not to repeat everything that everybody else said, but we do both. We do a la carte and in line with the managed services. We typically, anybody that's an unlimited remote service client will get what we call our basic collaborative cloud service rolled into their package, and that typically a la carte is listed as $9.95, but limited on the storage and what features they can use on that. And then we've got the next step up, if they were to buy it a la carte or have it packaged in with like an all-you-can-eat type of plan. We add the advanced, and we white label ours too. I don't know if any of the other guys white label, but we call ours collaborative cloud storage. So I might have said that,
nice,
not thinking.
nice.
I don't call it Anchor. I call it collaborative cloud storage, or CCS. So the advanced package comes with unlimited storage per user at $14.95, and then I have a premium one which comes with file server enablement, all the features in unlimited storage, $17.49, and all the support that comes with it per user per month, with a 5-user minimum though, is what we do on that one. So and just like the other guys said, it typically on the a la carte deals, if we're not doing full-on managed services or basic services for them or break fix, they're buying this as because they don't have a domain or they're decentralized 100%, right? And they're more 100% mobile worker type force, and it's a pseudo. It acts as a pseudo file server without a doubt, and gives them that confidence of secure access in certain areas, but also that ability to not have to attach files in email. Have the versioning, which is a key piece, without a doubt. So anyway, does that answer your question, I guess?
Of course. Thank you, Todd. Okay, and so back to Zach. What do your clients have to say about eFolder Anchor? I know, sometimes your clients really don't have any, tangible interaction with the like the cloud services that they are working with every day. If it's just backing up, they're not always realized. But with Anchor, they're actually using it. They're on the interface. They're using it every day to share. So what do your clients have to say about it?
Sure, yeah. Our clients, they see the value in the solutions that we bring to them that just work, and that's what Anchor does for us. When we present the solution, it works exactly the way that we said it would, and therefore our clients tend to love it. It allows them to add that secure functionality to what they already have without having to jump through a bunch of hoops to get there. And so even if they are under any type of government regulations, putting the solution in place and it working the way that it does makes them very happy customers, which means they are great long-term customers for us. And so we have not yet had any customer who had a bad experience with Anchor. Most of the time they're pleasantly surprised that it works actually the way that we said it would work.
Yeah. And do you guys white label Anchor?
We do white label Anchor. There we tell them, hey, we've got a partner who does this, and we tell them it's Anchor. But ultimately, for them, the name is less important as it is, does it actually work, and does it do what you said that it would do there? And so, they have the sync tool on their mobile devices and everything else, and it works great for them. And so we've got a lot of people who love it just for that functionality of I've got secure access to the files on my server for my mobile device.
Great. Love to hear that. And Eric, what about your clients?
We've had very good feedback from our clients. One of the things that we get the best feedback on is there's an Outlook plugin, and you can set some rules, say any attachment over 5 meg, upload it into Anchor, send the client a link, and then they download it. So our engineering firms that have huge drawings that we're using FTP and some other things, the Outlook plugin has worked out really well for them. The mobile app is really the mobile app works well. I don't think I've had any complaints about Anchor at this point. I think it's all been positive.
Awesome, excellent to hear. And Todd, what about your clients?
Yeah, I mean they appreciate the fact that when we do outline side by side what standard consumer grade file sync solutions, where the vulnerabilities are in comparison to what we call the collaborative cloud storage or Anchor product, it opens their eyes, right? So although it's not the cheapest solution, it's the best solution for business overall. And so when the key is, we've had situations, and I'll just give you a scenario, 2 different scenarios that people, if they aren't in love with it immediately as a Dropbox replacement, they fall in love with it quick. We had a situation where we had a server down that had file server enablement on it. So the good news is while we were trying to get that server back up and running, it was easy for their workforce just to find, either use collaborative cloud storage or Anchor on the local system to access those files, or from the web itself, and not skip a beat, right? So that's one scenario. So as far as business continuity, business continuity, as far as I'm concerned, as far as my clients are concerned, it's a layered approach, just like security. And you can never have too many backups. So this acts as a second or a third tier of backup in synchronicity. A couple of those individuals that use it on a routine basis love the self-serving aspect of being able to restore a file if one goes missing or ends up being messed up by another user or changed. So that's a benefit. But the other thing that we sell the clients on is, hey, look, all right, if that laptop is lost or stolen, and it's got CCS on it, and with every mobile deployment that we do, we set it up to back up the local profile of the active user that's associated with it. And so whether it be domain-based or not, these mobile users don't necessarily log into the domain, so that the offline file sync doesn't necessarily help us in that situation, but the CCS, or Anchor, excuse me, comes into play in those scenarios for those strictly mobile users. And so we've had situations where somebody is lost, stolen, damaged their device, their laptop or their tablet, if it's a Windows tablet. We just get them a new one here. We go ahead and prep it with all the settings and configuration, run CCS, and restore that local, meaning the local profile stuff. That means their favorites, their desktop items, their My Documents, whatever it is, back as a fail-safe, and it works like a dream. So it makes it easy on us, and it makes it easy on them, and then all we got to do is ship it back out. They don't really have to do much of anything to get back into production, right, and have access not only, you know, the way their desktop looked and felt, but also those server shares that are shared to the cloud as well. Anyway, that's about it. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So I think this is a good time to answer a question that came in. It's pretty relevant, and we'll start in the same order because I think it's, you know, it's separately applicable to each of you in your own way. So Zach, the question is, how do I overcome the customer question of why should they choose to change to Anchor when they can't edit documents from phones or tablets like they can with Google Drive? Have you ever had a client, or have you ever come up with a good answer for how to deal with that question?
Sure, yeah. Specifically on a mobile device, we have not yet had any clients who really have the need to edit a document on their screen simply because that screen is so small. It's great for viewing, but there's a high rate of error that you introduce when it comes to trying to edit a document successfully on that tiny screen. But we have been able to edit those files from the mobile device. I'm not sure if that's a limitation in an older version of Anchor, but we haven't run across that. Most of the time with us, we're wanting to identify what the most important things are for our customers, whether it's the security of their data or backing it up. And oftentimes those things that the client may think are really important, ultimately when it comes down to it, aren't deal killers for them going through with the product. And so we often find that if we focus on the other benefits that they're getting, they will oftentimes be willing to overlook any limitations that they see in the solution.
Great. And I just want to jump in really quick. You know, real-time editing for Anchor is something that has been on the roadmap for a long time, and it is so close. Like, it is very, very close. And I know our most recent release was, you know, kind of a precursor to this feature that partners have been asking for. So, you know, you don't want to just launch it. You want to make sure that that it works, and it's definitely coming. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Eric, have you ever come across any partners where that was, you know, a main concern for them, real-time editing? And if it was, how did you, you know, convince them that the other features of Anchor kind of override that one feature for yourself?
Sure. We haven't had it come up all that much. We're usually working with the business owners. The security piece kind of trumps some of the basic some of the functionality that the users need or want. That is that is one of those things. If you get a spreadsheet, put Box and OneDrive and Dropbox and everything, they all, you know, like Box is good at collaboration real time, and you know, there's each of them have their strengths, but as a whole, Anchor has by far more features and more strengths than the others, and it gives us as MSPs or IT providers the control, the integration with PSA, a lot of those features that help us a ton. Again, we haven't run into it that much, but you know, we haven't. Most of the time, we're just working with the business owners that, frankly, aren't that tuned to what their people are using. Okay,
great. And Todd, do you have any specific experiences where you've had clients that are concerned by that too?
Yeah, I mean, it's limited. I mean, you can pull the file down and then upload it back. That's the workaround, right? I mean, so it's not ideal, but it functions, right? In other words, it works. It's just not as seamless, right? But again, in comparison to the features and the benefits, a lot of times if they're not interested in the security aspect, or you know, not interested in the file server enablement component, which is a big piece that nothing else really can compare to, Again, I tend to relegate to, well, when was the last time you called Google for support? So, you know what I mean? If you want somebody that's tangible and that you can get on the phone to not only train you but also support you, then and I think that's a selling feature from the MSP standpoint, without a doubt. And just lining it up. How does Google Docs compare across the board from a feature and security and stability standpoint, right? And accessibility. I don't know. It's Google Docs is not necessarily a good central solution for a work group as a whole. It's a good one-to-one or one-to-many like type of solution, whereas this is a central solution, which is different, right? A centrally managed store to many, inclusive of your organization and exclusive of your organization as well, right? So right. It caters to both sides, meaning contractors that are outside your organization or strictly internal. Different security levels, not something you're going to get from any of those products out there to the same degree. Certainly not something that allows oversight and management from an MSP standpoint, right? That matches closer to how a file server works, so.
Right. So I just had another question come in that I think just one of you could probably answer because it is a technical question and it is one that I've seen come up a lot. So here it is. A folder on a server is synced to multiple devices. Someone opens the file from the server. What happens if another user tries to open the same file on their local drive? Are they told it is already open, or could multiple people accidentally make changes to the same file at the same time? So just one of you want to answer that?
I get that question a lot.
Okay, take it away.
And so what happens is you can enable or disable auto lockout either globally or individually by the organization, and it acts just like a regular file server would. In other words, if somebody touches that file in an edit mode, it basically sends a notification to anybody else that tries to open that and says, hey, you're in read-only mode, just like a file server would. And then they can choose, hey, I'm just going to preview what I need to do, or if they're going to create a fork in the file, then it will just fork off from there. But nothing's any different than a standard LAN-based file server. You'll run into the same situation.
Right. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Okay, so I just want to cover a couple other things before we just dedicate the last couple minutes to answering a couple more questions. I just have a couple more things to go over. So quickly, the resources you can find in support of Anchor, we have a couple different, we call them playbooks. So we've put together a Dropbox problem playbook, which is, very relevant to what we're talking about today, as well as our client awareness playbook as well. So they include, competitive sheets, email templates, white papers, ebooks, client pitch decks, event planning guides, all completely brandable. So these are materials that you can send to your clients. You can show them these presentations on truly the dangers of using Dropbox and other consumer-grade file sync services. If if you do have clients that are resistant to changing from their free service to one that we all know is beneficial, but sometimes they see things we all know from a different viewpoint, and usually it's monetary. So this resource is packed with so much good stuff, and like I said, completely brandable. You can put your own logos on it, deck it out in any way that you want. Yeah, so it is located in our partner portal, but I can also definitely send it to anyone who would like to have it. Let's see here. Okay, and then
we use that stuff pretty heavily. Those
oh, great,
brandable things, so it works out great. It makes it easy to print something or share something digitally that looks like it's yours rather than somebody else's, right?
Yes, 100%. And then for anyone in the audience that wants to try Anchor, you're more than welcome to sign up for an Anchor NFR. So these are not for resale accounts for up to 25 users. And I've provided the link here. You will also get this slide deck in an email from me when the webinar wraps up with this URL. So feel free to go check it out. Reach out to me if you have any questions, or your Anchor account manager, partner enablement. Everyone is very knowledgeable with where to go if you are interested. So, all right, so let's get down to some questions. I have a bunch coming in right now, so let me just organize really quick. Oh, I have some people that want the Dropbox playbook. That's great. Okay, so I have a pricing question. I'm just going to randomly ask it to one of my clients, or one of my partners online, I'm sorry. So I understand the pricing is $300 per month. Is this for each MSP regardless of the number of end clients, or is it for each end client? Somebody want to take that answer, or that question, I'm sorry.
Are they,
This is Eric.
are they referencing the price from Anchor or the price to the client?
I'm not too sure. They just said they understand that it's $300 per month. I think they're asking.
The package rate is what it is, right? It probably comes with the X amount of clients. So, I mean, without seeing the detail on what's presented, it's probably impossible to know,
Right. That hopefully wasn't a good question to start with. Okay. So here, Eric, I have a question for you. So this person has a one-off vendor that wants to send him a large MP4 file. So how can he do this with eFolder Anchor?
So the MSP has a client that then works with another company that needs to send a large file. You can send them a link and they can put it into a folder and upload it to you. I don't believe that, go ahead.
No, that's okay. Keep going.
No, I don't believe there's a notification when it comes in yet. I know that's on the roadmap.
Oh, no, we just came out with that. So we get uploads and download notifications for both now.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And that's if you enable that. It's a feature. You can choose to get that done, right? I mean, that's
exactly. Exactly. Okay. Well, hopefully that answered that question. Yeah, it's as simple as sending your client a link and allowing them to upload to that private team share as a guest account. So you can create guest accounts for uploads.
Yeah. So just to kind of break it down real quick, I mean, just to hopefully simplify it a little bit. So you get one of two methods. If you're transferring a large file from point A to point B, you can use the Outlook plugin. The Outlook plugin has a threshold, 3 megs, 5 megs, whatever you set, that if it's a large file, it recognizes it. And what it does is it automatically uploads to a central folder in the Anchor environment and replaces that attachment, normally that would be in line on the email, with a link, and the link shows up at the top of the email before your message does, so that it's not missed, it's not pushed down at the bottom, and it instructs them on how to get to it. You can choose one of two ways. You can make it public accessible to where anybody can download from that link, or you can make it private, that requires a username and password, and either way, the public one doesn't use a guest account, I don't believe, but the one that's password accessible, which the guest accounts don't decrement from your licensing, and that's the beautiful thing about it. You can have as many guest accounts, but your licensed accounts are the cost component. But also, one thing that I've had a couple of clients do is they set up a shared folder. So like project, right? So contractors are dumping information in. You can choose to allow them to add, edit, and remove, or relegate them to only download, right? So you can change some share levels in that respect. And so in essence, it's your coffer, right? And so for those guys that are used to using Dropbox to transport things, maybe they're a contractor with somebody that has Anchor, it's an easy transfer and easy to get them on track with using that one secure folder, that's not an outlier and that you control or that client controls. Does that make sense? So,
yeah, definitely. Thank you for adding that in.
Yep.
Okay, I have another question. How are each of you promoting the solution? Do you give free trials, or what is your individual take on that? So we'll start in the order we've been going in. So Zach, Eric, and then Todd.
Yeah, sure. So, we have had a few free trials that we have done for the most part. They're ready to sign up for the solution then, just because they're already using something else, or they have nothing and they really need the functionality. We're always willing to do free trials, and the few times we've done a free trial, they've been ready to sign and move forward with it not long afterwards, because it doesn't take very long for them to see the value in the solution and how easy it is to use.
Great. Eric?
One of the things that I love is the ability to set up trial accounts without having to contact anyone. Right from our portal, we can create trial accounts. We use it for lack of a better term, the bait as well. It usually seals the deal, and we don't have to pull it off, and then you can just change it from a trial account to a fully functional account. So it's worked well for us.
Great. And Todd?
So we do a combination of things. We usually do a demo. A lot of the questions are absolved when they can actually see it in action. We do a demo, but absolutely we've done trial accounts. But with the demo, we almost never do a trial account. They just do it. They just sign up. So, but I can see where the value proposition is, and the ease of turning it on is definitely worth looking at if that's what they want, right?
Yes, definitely. Okay, thank you guys. Another question: what techniques have you found? What techniques have you found earned you the most profits through deploying Anchor? We'll just go right through the lineup again.
Ask the question again.
Sorry. What techniques have you found earned you the most profits using? Sorry, this is worded strangely. What techniques have you found that have earned you the most profits deploying Anchor, selling Anchor?
Sure. So I would say I don't sell against Dropbox's pricing. Because it's not a apples to apples comparison. So I sell on the value of what they will get from the solution, the value that their employees will get out of being able to be more productive in the things, and that value is usually far higher than whatever price I will quote them. And so I think that's the most important thing is don't quote it based on somebody else's pricing. You quote it based on the value that the client will get, and therefore you're usually able to get better margins out of it that way.
Awesome. Well said. Eric?
Just kind of put in perspective, I think Box is either 15 to 18, Dropbox for Business is around 15. So when you come in there at $15, there's a very healthy margin there, and you can show the difference in the additional benefits, the file server enablement, some of the other things that you do not get with the other solutions. So it's a quick deploy. It's a small little program that goes on the PC. The app's clean. It's a pretty simple thing to make profit on in a short amount of time.
Great. Todd?
So, I mean, I kind of agree with both of them in that respect. It's not an apples to apple, but it's still there's margin to be made in the differences in my mind, and being able to outline that, the competency of understanding what this product does different in contrast to what the consumer market or this emerging business sync market. I think it's an easy sell. I mean, we make some money on setup fees. It's not a huge amount of money on the setup fees, but also on training. We'll do some on-site training. Some people like the videos and like the how-tos, and that's fine. Kind of a self-training piece. But for those that want to be power users and leverage it to the nines, they usually pay us for a couple hours on-site or webinar-style training to kind of handhold them to make sure that they get everything out of it that is potentially to be had by them as an individual, and that's different between each company, to be honest with you. You got mobile users that are trying to gain access to shares on a server, or you got a whole office full of people, or excuse me, a whole company-wide group of people that are scattered throughout the U.S. with no centralized server or file shares. So it's a different tact with each type. But anyway, so there's money to be made on different deployment and after the sale. So
totally, definitely. Thank you. So one more question. I think we'll wrap things up with this one. How big of a factor for your business is the file server enablement feature, and why? Is it something a lot of your clients need? So, Zach?
It's huge. I would say probably 80% at least of the deployments we've done so far with Anchor have been primarily because of the file server enablement feature. When we first saw it, it was the sort of the seal the deal for us to sign on, and we use it very heavily. We actually use it in one case to keep two separate branch offices connected with each of their files, so that if one office goes down through the VPN tunnel, they can connect to the other office and still access their files. And so, the fact that you can keep two different physical machines in sync, along with it being synced up to the Anchor cloud, is a huge deal.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Eric?
One of the things that we love is no VPN, no remote desktop connection. They just can go to my computer, their sync folder, and grab their documents. So I'll pick on salespeople because I am one. For simple-minded salespeople out in the field, I open up my laptop. I just get in my laptop. I go to my computer. Voila, they're my files. No VPN, no anything to hassle with. So that's the part that people really like.
Right. And Todd?
Yeah, I mean, the days of VPN, FTP, are numbered, if not already gone. I mean, it's a simple turnkey type of solution that just works, no matter what the environment is, from working offline to working online and then getting back in sync, that kind of stuff it's just, totally mindless from that standpoint from the user. And as far as the file server enablement is concerned, for me, we've got a lot of small businesses that we cater to that don't have servers, so that's not that big of a deal. But the other 50% that do have actual servers, it's a huge selling point for sure. But it works both ways. For the non-server client and the server-based client, there are features and benefits that are easy to sell them on.
There sure are. Great. Okay, well, I think we're going to wrap up our webinar right now. I just want to quickly let everybody know our next one is next Thursday, 3rd. It will be an expert series webinar titled How MSPs Can Use LinkedIn to Keep Their Sales Pipelines Full. And gentlemen on my panel, thank you so much for joining us today. Your anecdotes, experiences, and insight on Anchor is truly priceless, and I hope everyone on the line got a lot out of today's discussion and information that we provided. So just want to say thank you guys, and I hope everybody has a great day.
Thanks for having us.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much. Signing off now. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.